Okay. Let me know when you're good to move on. Are you good? Okay. So we said that you always check for a GCF first. That's what we did right here. So we pulled out a 2x, and then what do you do with what's left inside? How? X plus 3, x minus 3. That's difference of squares, yeah? Okay, cool. So that's factored. That's all we're doing, yeah? Okay, cool. So then look at the next one over here. So we've got 4x cubed minus 28x squared plus 48. Pull out a 4 because you always check for GCF first, right? So we'll pull that out. We're left with x cubed minus plus 12. And that's as far as we can go. Is that okay? So we're good with factoring, right? Can we not do what? We can't x factor because it's cubed. Yeah. Is that okay? Because I had the same thought too. I was like, oh, we can go further. Wait, no, we can't. But yeah, so it's cubed, so we'll just stop there. Yeah, on that one. Okay, cool. So, the next section is basically just telling you that you need to factor and see if stuff will cancel. Is that okay? Are we good with that? We know that. We've done a little bit of this already, right? So just look, factor what you can, see what will cancel. It's talking about why we can do that, but I feel like we kind of already know, right? Yeah, I mean, that's just like how you simplify fractions. So it's just breaking it down for you. So if y'all are okay to skip this, we'll skip it. Okay. So then the next part, we've got x squared plus 5x over x squared. So can we just cancel out the x squareds?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No, because it's plus 5x.
It's attached, right? So we cannot do that. That's why we need to review this. Because how many of you just said yes? Right? So we need to pull out what up top? A GCF and x. So we're going to have x times x plus 5. And then on the bottom, you've got x squared. So what can we cancel? The x with one of these x's. So that's going to reduce to just x plus 5 over x. Is that okay?
Which is basically just like you got rid of an x from all those terms.
Correct.
Just if every term has an x.
Right. Then we can do that. So we just kind of did an extra step in between by pulling out that GCF. But if you can recognize that and just eliminate, then you're good. Are we all right?
Yes.
Okay. Questions? All right, so for the next one, what should we do? X factor, right? So up top, what does that factor into? We need factors of 6 that subtract to be 5. So negative 6 and 1, that'll get you there. And then what does the bottom factor into?
X plus 1, x minus 1.
What cancels? X plus 1s go away. Can we cancel the x's? Why not?
They're attached.
They're attached. So like they're bound by addition or subtraction is like the Mackie way to say that. But we know that they won't cancel. So you're just left with x minus 6 over x minus 1. Is that okay? We good? Wonderful. Looking at the next one. If you had to multiply fractions, how would you go about doing that?
Top comes to the top, and bottom comes to the bottom.
Right, we just multiply straight across. What would be a good idea before you start doing that?
X times x.
See if you can get rid of anything first, right? I think that would make it a lot easier. So the first part is obviously going to stay the same. But what about the second one? What will this top part factor into? And what about the denominator?
X plus 3.
Okay, so the x plus 3's cancel. What else? Your x minus 3's and your x plus 2's cancel. So that whole thing is that okay? So that was a lot easier than trying to multiply, right? Okay, are we good?
Yes.
Any questions so far?
I need to write it.
Okay, I won't move again. Like I said, today should be pretty easy, so I hope that it is.
Wait. Did you get it or
didn't go ahead and grade the ones that you already turned in. I was waiting to do all the ones. Alright, are we good to move on? You good? Kind of good? Alright, so the next part, this is more of the same. There's still a lot of stuff happening there, so I do want to make sure that we go over this one though. So, again, I think it's helpful to go ahead and factor first, because if we can get rid of stuff and we don't have to multiply it, I think that just makes our job a lot easier. So, up top, what can we do with this one? A GCF, so we're pulling out what?
2x.
And that leaves you with?
2 minus x.
Okay. Then on the bottom over here, what will that factor into?
X plus. I didn't know I was
Then what does this factor into?
X minus 3x. Or x plus 3x.
You were right with the minus.
Oh, wait. I said it right the first time.
Are we good? Okay, so what will cancel?
X minus 3.
Anything else? Are you sure?
X minus 2 and 2 minus x.
Are those the same thing? What could we pull out from here? No, you're right, they're going to cancel. What? Pull out a negative, and what does that make this? A positive x and a negative 2, right? So now what will cancel?
Those two.
Make sense? So we've got a negative.
Negative x minus 1.
Slide that so you can actually see it. Is that okay? Are we good with pulling out that negative to make factors the same? We've done that before. No, but are we okay with it? Do we understand how it works? Do we have any questions at all?
Is it always going to be like that? Like if it's 2 minus x and x minus 2?
You could pull out.
Go ahead and just know that
You have to pull out a negative. It might not always work. We had it like a negative 1 in front, so we just had negative 1 times whatever was left over. So everything had ended up canceling. Our final answer would have been negative 1 instead of positive 1. Is that okay? Any other questions right now? So we're still good? Okay. So then the next part is doing division. So I just learned this at lunch today. Do y'all know that in elementary school they don't teach them to like divide fractions right anymore? How do you divide fractions? What do you do? Keep, change, flip, right? They don't teach them that anymore. I don't know what they're doing. Something with like boxes.
Yeah, they do boxes and stuff.
I don't even know. But we still say that. So when it says to tackle division, you're going to change to multiplication while you flip the second expression. I'll give you these when we're done, if that'll make it easier. You're like, are you okay? So yeah, change to multiplication and the second one. I'm just not gonna holler. So I'll wait till y'all are done. So just like before, I think it's helpful to go ahead and cancel everything that we can, or factor and then try to cancel. So what will this factor into?
Multiply the 8 with 3.
So we know we multiply it in V24, and you'd have to divide. So you end. It's actually 12 and 2 that works out better than 6 and 4. You would get that when you did it. It becomes 2x plus 3 and 4x minus 1. Correct. So we're going to flip this one and make it 1 over that, but also pull out a GCF at the same time. So what will cancel? 4x minus 1. Anything else? That's it. So up top you're going to have 2x plus 3, and on the bottom you're going to have 4x cubed. Is that okay? Questions? All right, so then the next one, you're dividing again, so I would try to factor and then flip, multiply by the second one. So what can you pull out for the top one? A 2, so that's going to give you 2 times what? And then on the bottom, what will that factor into? Factors of 2 that subtract to be 1. And then flip, so I'm going to do the bottom first. What will this factor into? On the bottom, we have x plus 3. I should need a parentheses there. All right, what's cancels? Could we pull out a negative here and make those cancel? No, because the x's are both positive. It's only the ones that change signs, so that's not going to help us. So you'll be left with 2 times x plus 1 over x minus 1. Okay? Questions? All right, cool. So the last part, when you have complex fractions, do we know how to handle this? So this is a fraction being divided by a fraction. Same thing we were just doing, but they smushed it all together. Okay? Exactly. Complex fraction. So again, it's just another way to show division. So this is the same thing as a plus b over 4 divided by a squared minus b squared over 4. And then we know that when you're dividing, you just flip and multiply, right? I'm going to go ahead and factor that a squared minus b squared into a plus b and a minus b. Is that all right? What are we left with? Questions on any of that? Are we going too quickly for anybody? All right, so then the last part, you're given a rectangle. The length and width are provided. We want to find the area. So how are we going to do that? Multiply, right? So what would be helpful to do first? All right, so GCF for this part right here, what would we pull out? That's going to leave you with what? And then on the denominator, what can we pull out? And what are you left with? What will this factor do up here? And what will your denominator factor into? Are we good with that? Okay, so when we multiply, we're going to have 8 times v minus 7 times v plus 6 times v plus 3 all over 8 times v plus 6 times 8v times v plus 3. Is that okay? I just went ahead and smushed it all together. We all good with that? What cancels? So we're left with v minus 7 over 8v. Anything else we can cancel? Why can't we cancel the v's? It's attached to the 7. What if the minus 7 wasn't there?
You could.
Then we could, right? But because that top part is bound by subtraction, there's nothing else we can do there. Are we good? Questions on anything at all? Okay, great. So your homework, I need you to take pictures of it. So I'm going to put it up front. I've got a couple copies.